It's been mentioned to me before that the way you enter Anor Londo is a rather unconventional burglar's method. I don't recall who said it or if it was in a video, but I'm gonna talk about it all the same. In Dark Souls, the motivation for a new player to do the things they do, provided they paid attention to the brief snippets of dialogue given to you by Oscar Restore and Framed, is the Chosen Undead prophecy. There's a lot of reasons why the Chosen Undead prophecy is something that is manufactured and not to be trusted. Hawkshaw lays these out comprehensively in a video of his, which I'll link a timestamp to in the description. I'll be making allusions towards its fabrication throughout this video. The prophecy is relatively straightforward at first. It is presented to you through ye olde English speak by Oscar in the Undead Asylum.
Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know.
Now if you paid attention to both this dialogue and the intro cutscene narration, describing how the undead are corralled and led to the north, where they are locked away to await the end of the world, it is strange that this prophecy should specify the undead asylum as your starting point. It is also unclear who put you in the asylum, though the description of Lloyd's talisman implies that it may be the Way of White. Why would this old prophecy come into being after the Way of White has already locked away these undead in the asylum? It implies that the prophecy is relatively fresh in the game's timeline. Regardless, your journey is rather straightforward after this. You are thrown in on a curveball when it is revealed that there are actually 2 bells of awakening, but you are playing the hero and the game's challenges play into this. You fight the bell gargoyles protecting the first bell of awakening, and plenty of demons block your path between the first and second bell. After ringing the second bell, the old Silver Knight's training ground Sen's Fortress is opened up. Sen's Fortress acted as a test. Should a candidate for the Silver Knights conquer its challenges, they would be granted access to Anor Londo. The Crestfallen Merchant's dialogue tells us we are hardly the first to try the fortress, after it has changed from training Silver Knights to being part of the Chosen Undead prophecy. Many nameless undead and even several NPCs we encounter, such as Logan and Tarkus, have apparently tried and failed. Though we do later appear to find Tarkus' corpse in Anor Londo, and, well, the fact that his summoned phantom is perfectly capable of soloing the Iron Golem, this implies that the merchant's dialogue isn't entirely reliable. However, as you find your way to the top and defeat the Iron Golem, the way is blocked and caved in. Illusory Wall's video on Lordran's layout shows us that this blocked path aligns perfectly with the walkways of Anor Londo, and thus is the original route. When you stop to think about it, much like your starting point of the Undead Asylum, it is strange that the obvious path to Anor Londo is blocked, when the successor to Lord Gwyn is in fact supposed to go there. Instead, you are transported up by winged demons in service to Anor Londo. These demons go on to be an obstacle in Anor Londo itself, so it is strange that they should carry you into the city in the first place. Anor Londo itself is a beautiful piece of environmental storytelling, in which the absurdity of the undead prophecy becomes more and more obvious. We see in the distance the impressive cathedral, the House of God as it were, or rather House of the Gods, yet as we make our way down, we see that the revolving staircase is aligned to an out-of-reach point. There is no obvious path forward, and what are we left with? We go through a broken window after tiptoeing our way across an arch, which definitely was not meant as a path. We climb our way up a ladder to the rafters and have to inch our way carefully forwards, vandalizing a chandelier along the way, and then have to drop back down to a walkway, where we can recall the revolving staircase to align itself with the walkways. Later, we find the gate leading into the cathedral sealed and are forced to once more find an unconventional route into the House of God, dashing across walkways where, for whatever reason, the Silver Knights are standing guard. We drop down into a balcony and begin a clumsy path up and down the cathedral's interior until we find Ornstein and Smo. What we have essentially done here is play the burglar. Rather than take this heroic path to Ornstein and Smo through the front gate, we have burglarized the place using a broken window the rafters, archways, windowsills and a balcony to force our way inside. You are a burglar. This isn't something that should be necessary of a prophetic hero. You may not stop to think about it on your first journey, but here you are acting like little more than a pillager or a thief. Then, of course, we find Guinevere, who grants us the Lord Vessel and sends us on our way. Damaging her reveals her to be an illusion and dispels the lot of them all throughout Anor Londo, along with the lights. Her, pretty much all the giant sentinels and the vast majority of the Silver Knights. The fact that all these obstacles were an illusion was previously hinted at by the giant blacksmith's dialogue, who tells us how lonely he is and everybody is gone. And then Fram tells us that these beings that we are supposed to kill and satiate the Lord Vessel with have outlived their usefulness. Sif, who is perceived as mad, and the 4 kings who have been overtaken by the abyss. Those I can understand, but it seems strange that he should apply this label to Nito and the Witch of Islip. So the undead prophecy starts out as well designed and thought out. An ancient prophecy from Astora, bells of awakening and the challenge of Sen's Fortress and the Bell Gargoyles. And then it unravels at the seams. The way is blocked, so demons have to carry you up there. You have to kill the Great Lords for the sole reason of getting powerful souls. And to me, nothing accentuates this quite so well as the fact that you have to break into Anor Londo like a thief, rather than play the part of a hero.